Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Cabral and Salisbury show. Today, we're going to be talking about quite a few topics. We're going to be mainly focusing on AEW and the Punk MGF feud. We're going to be talking about John Moxley, and then we're going to get into some gaming. So, to start us off today, Jason, you want to talk about Punk and the MGF feud and the clash of words?
Yes, the war on the mic, as I call it. Uh, to be honest, I honestly think this feud is just the best thing going on in wrestling, just between AEW, WWE, TNA, all the brands. This is something I think fans have been waiting for years. I mean, I can't think of two better guys on the mic than MGF and Punk. So, a feud that I've definitely been saying I've been waiting for a while. Just and they played it out so perfectly. I mean, if you think about it, a few weeks ago, the first time these two were face to face, nobody said a fucking word. Excuse my language there, but nobody said a damn word.
Right, right.
There was just
Yeah, you
absolute
should.
silence. Hold on. There was just absolute silence. And the thing about this is, you know you have gold, okay? You know you have gold when neither guy says a damn word and you're getting holy shit and shut the F up chants. Just saying.
Right. Now you showed me the video, and I haven't gotten into AEW, but now I'm going to. The war on words that I saw was insane. I think the best line I got out of that was when MGF told Punk you might as well be preaching loyalty and respect. Oh my God, there was a diss to WWE, and it was a freaking punch to the gut to Punk. That was good. That
Oh,
was probably my favorite line.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that whole 18-minute segment, I mean, that's probably the best 18 minutes I've ever seen in AEW history. Really, all the zingers to get, people like John Cena, Triple H, Miz, WWE, all the zingers to just, Punk's personal life and MGF's personal life. When Punk said, "Oh, I thought MGF stood for my jealous fan," that was freaking brilliant in itself. Punk bringing up how MGF was on the Rosie O'Donnell show years ago as a kid, freaking how he has a poster of Punk on his bedroom wall, like. And then MGF, like I said, firing back with hustle, loyalty, and respect, man. You can't see me, man. Saying that Punk could never, he was always second to Cena and to Triple H, the King of Kings. Like, that whole segment was just zinger after zinger after zinger, and it was just amazing to watch. Again, the war of words, the war on the mic, whatever you want to call it. It just
It was pretty intense.
yeah, it's so intense, and the response it's gotten from fans, it's just insane.
I have to definitely agree there. I've never seen a great promo for a feud in a long time. Like even with WWE, you have not seen a good feud like that, and especially with the words. You don't see that anymore. That's talent, you know. I think the last time you saw a superstar really kill on the mic was John Cena in WWE, but not really, you know. They don't really have
Not on that
anything over
level.
there now.
No, you
Not
know.
on the level of MJF and Punk. And they have the freedom to say whatever they want on AEW, or like they have a little bit more freedom to WWE. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And when fan favorites like MGF and CM Punk clash, like that's gonna fill stadiums. You know, that's gonna fill the entire. Every seat there is gonna be full when they inevitably come to blows for like maybe a title match or something. You know,
Yeah.
or something like of that nature. Now, another popular figure that used to actually be very popular in WWE from 2012 to 2019 until he moved to AEW was Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley. And recently, he went into alcohol rehab. And you want to talk about some of those rumors of what's going on?
So rumors have it that it was the birth of his daughter that really pushed him to make this decision for himself. AEW has been very supportive, but as for the recent rumors, rumor has it that WWE is actually paying for his rehab. Which, I mean, they have done this for certain wrestlers in the past, um, but it's not something you see often, and you wouldn't really expect it for the way that WWE and John Moxley left things off. So it was very
Right.
surprising to me to see that.
Oh yeah, I was definitely surprised to hear that news. Now, I hope John Moxley does recover from that, because not many people seek the rehab that that would really help them out. But it's good to see such a prominent star, John Moxley, really show that it's possible to get out of a situation like that.
Yeah, and individuals like Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes, they have tweeted out that they have spoken with Moxley at least a couple times, and it does sound like he is getting better and really getting the help that he needs.
See, AEW just has a whole nother caliber of superstars. Yeah, WWE, I thanked him for helping Moxley, but I feel like Moxley, from what I've seen, is much better in AEW than he's far happier, that's for sure. I mean, the last thing I can remember from WWE Ambrose was what? James Ellsworth? Wow. Like, you compared that to AEW and their promos, there's no comparison. Nothing.
It's because AEW lets their talent have creative say.
Yeah, exactly.
And like AEW shows the importance of letting your talent have creative say and what happens and then who they are, who their characters, what they say, what they do. You know?
Right. And it actually, I mean, obviously wrestling is fake, but that actually makes it look like wrestling. It's not just punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. That's it.
Yeah, big move, match over. Like it's not that, no.
It's because WWE recently is literally slam, slam, spear, F5, suplex, suplex, super kick. That's literally all it is.
Pretty much.
And that's not really entertaining.
No.
AEW is showing WWE that they're not messing around, and they're coming to play. All their talent is really showing WWE off with what they got going on there. Like there's again no competition. What are some of your favorite superstars from AEW and why?
My favorite. Oh God. There's not just one. There's a few. One of them just Punk because he was a favorite of mine as a child. So I still seeing him back has really gotten me back into wrestling. MJF of course. Just again mic ability, and then like not only that, like he's good in the ring too. And just there's not too many guys that get it, and he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, there's even fewer guys that have it, and he just has it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just he gets the business, he understands it, he knows how to perfectly play to the crowd, get the crowd to hate him, just simple old school, heel moves, just like just totally, shitting on the local crowd. Like that's how you get heat on you as a heel, and like he just does that perfectly, and whatever he says on the mic, yeah, he backs it up in the ring. As Punk said, sometimes he needs his backup to back up what he says. Which is pretty funny. But he works it in a way that just makes him the perfect heel, and you can't help but love him. Like you love him, you love to hate him, you hate to love him. That's kind of that thing. Not many guys have that.
That's what makes the business. It's all that entertainment is what makes that business flow. And if you don't have entertaining superstars, then you're not gonna fill seats.
Right.
And MGF does that perfectly.
Right. I'd say another guy I'm a big fan of right now is Malachi Black.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was wasted in WWE when he was known as Aleister Black. They just didn't know how to use him right. But now, just there's really no way to describe it. Just the whole darkness, the aura of Malachi, his ability on the mic, just in-ring ability. I've always thought he's one of the best in-ring performers. Just with all of his, his quick kicks and combos and stuff, it's just.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I know
you can't really find guys like that nowadays. It's very rare.
Yeah. And Malachi, I think it backs up my statement of just AEW shows that it's very important for your talent to have creative say. I mean, look at Malachi and what he's been able to accomplish.
Right.
He's one of the most talked about superstars in AEW right now, and it's understandable as to why.
Definitely. Now, I think there's also rumors that AEW is making their own video game, and I feel like if they did make a video game and it was good, 2K, WWE 2K doesn't stand a chance. There's no way. Especially with how buggy those games are, how you could sometimes barely play a match without something going on and the game crashing or completely going out of whack. And you definitely have personal experience with that.
I mean, yeah, hell, just the other day, I freaking threw Roman Reigns off a Hell in a Cell cage, and the game like just stopped. I had no control over everything. It just, the match was going on, but everything was frozen. I couldn't do anything. Like,
Yeah. Now, it's sad to see that the developers can't iron out these bugs. 2K19, 2K20, and like, what are you doing, devs? What are you doing? Now we're gonna be probably heading into 2K22 soon, and what? You still can't fix the fact that if I destroy a superstar and slam him into the outside of the ring, they can't get up? You kidding me? Like, or I somehow phase
seriously?
through the ring. Yeah, exactly. I somehow phase through the ring, and all of a sudden the match just stops. Like, what are your expectations, or what are your thoughts on 2K22 as with what we know so
Well,
far?
well, if it is true that AEW is coming out with a video game, then WWE developers, 2K developers, really need to work out those kinks. Uh, Not just that, I'm curious as to see what they're gonna do with the rosters. Considering all the all the talent they've released in the last year and a half, freaking over
Mhm.
100 superstars released, and they're planning on releasing more. I mean, what the hell? What is the roster gonna look like? Is it just gonna be Reigns and freaking Brock Lesnar and Orton and Drew? Like, is that it? Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be. There's not gonna be many guys. Oh, but you know what? No, what they're probably gonna do, if in my if I had to take a guess, is they're gonna fill the roster with like legends on top of legends on top of legends, and I'm like, yeah, all right, it's cool to bring back those legends, but not so many of them, you know.
Right.
And then
They
like,
can't really carry the. Oh, go
go
ahead.
no, go ahead, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Said legends cannot carry a business to freaking new heights. Sure, in their prime they could, but as they get older, they can't carry the franchise as they used to. You're gonna need those new guys to pull a crowd. Like if you brought Undertaker back, yeah, all those fans are gonna be like, yeah, Taker, but he's not the same. He's not as
Yeah,
entertaining as he once was.
yeah, and like you bring that into the video game, and like, yes, again, it's cool to be able to play as those old wrestlers, but there's another. It's like the simplest comparison I can make here is it's like with Madden games. Like, there's different groups. There's a fan base for franchise mode, there's a fan base for ultimate teams. It's like that with the WWE games. Like, yes, there's a fan base that loves playing as those legends, but there's also a fan base that loves playing as the new guys.
Right.
You know?
Those new guys are athletic. They have the skills, and in the game, it'll transition well if the game's not broken, of course. And people, when they see people doing those flips and kicks and those really cool moves, they want to replicate that, and they're gonna pop in the game and play it, or they're gonna make their own superstars and they're gonna play dream matches against their favorite superstar. They're not gonna want to play freaking old. Yeah, legends are cool, like you previously mentioned in your statement. But again, that can't carry a franchise in a game. We're gonna need those new guys because most people want to see that athleticism translated in game. And not only that, it can translate into the features of the game. It'll give us more moves to use. That's one of the big parts too.
Absolutely.
It's all about content, and there are some games out there that really don't have that. And I hope maybe if AEW doesn't end up making a game, I really hope WWE developers really get into their head that their games, if they had competition, their games would suck. You know?
Yeah. No, and that is totally fair to say. And I have a feeling this is gonna like we're gonna use this again, but it's the Madden mentality. It's the oh god, it's the NBA
FIFA mentality.
FIFA mentality. It's like it's modern gaming. It's modern gaming. Let's
Yes.
let's come out with a game that's totally broken and not complete, and then let's try to add things through patches. But what ends up happening is there's certain things or issues with the coding or whatever that end up not getting fixed at all, or sometimes, and this has definitely happened in the past, these patches create more coding errors, so then creates more errors within gameplay.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a great point there. The thing is, these games don't ship out complete. Like a lot of modern games, they don't. They ship out half baked. They ship out completely broken, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll promise fixes in the future. Oh, we'll promise fixes." And then they patch it again, like you said, broken. They bring out some new players or a DLC, broken. Ark is a good example of this too. When an update comes out, all the servers freaking break.
Yep.
Something breaks. We see this in lots of games. Even new games like Halo Infinite that's about to release. And we're going to get into that in a minute because that's a huge topic. Huge. Because I'm sure you've heard of games of the likes of Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield. That game is beating them out in all the right numbers. And just like that, it's suffering to modern gaming. And we'll get to that in a second. But, again, games need to ship out complete. They need to test their games thoroughly and not just promise patches later. We need fixes now, not later, because then if I want to play the game as it is when I bought it. I didn't pay $60 to find out that my Madden game is basically copy and paste, and that there's houses on the stadium, and that my players don't know, like, the AI is messed up, and sometimes you're destined to get screwed.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
another thing. Like sometimes, like games like that, like especially like sports games, it's almost like it's predetermined. Like you're gonna lose. Like I've even noticed that. Like, for instance, I usually make my own playbook, and I know what plays work. I've played Madden for years,
hmm
and my playbook will work, but then all of a sudden, boom. And yeah, I get it. It's the AI getting smarter, but it shouldn't get to the point where nothing works.
right.
You know? And in some games, you just load right in and it's automatically no run game, no pass game, no nothing. It's just defense. The opponent's defense is just killing you. And you can't do anything. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I was there when you were recording some gameplay for J Sports Review, and you were destroying the other team. I believe the score was like 20-1. And somehow they scored a touchdown out of nowhere, even though you had the right plays, the right positioning. And somehow
Yeah.
the AI had like a
Yeah.
speed boost of 20%, like 20
Yeah,
times the normal speed.
their star receiver, like, basically phased through my defender, just totally broke out the play like nobody around him. It was ridiculous.
And they scored. That's what I'm saying. Games need to ship out complete. Again, imagine you probably have lots of good points about this. WWE is a great example of this. You pay your hard earned money for a game that you're gonna see yourself playing. You don't pay $60 for a piece of garbage.
All right.
You wanna play a game that works.
Yeah, not only do the bugs get worse every year, the options get worse every year. I mean, you know,
Yeah, you're
a lot
you're
of
paying more
games.
to lose features.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
games have
ridiculous.
lost like fan favorite features, and it's, again, because of modern gaming. They're like, oh, we only need to focus on 2 or 3 things. Like, no, that's not how it works. You have,
Not at all.
if you want to grow your fan base or the amount of people playing your game, whatever, then you
Right.
need to have at least a decent range of options. You know, because
Right.
everybody's different. Everybody has their different
hmm
nooks and crannies, their groupings, whatever you want to call them. You know, they find their homes in different areas of the game.
hmm
You know, but now it's, you know, again, modern gaming. It forces everybody into the same 2 or 3 groupings, and it doesn't really give you a choice. You can't really customize much of anything nowadays. It's ridiculous.
Take it this way. Here's a good example of what we're going to be talking about. Imagine paying $60, right? Call of Duty every year is virtually the same game. You're shooting people, but every game you have new guns. Maybe it's a different era of what the game's centered on. There's different maps. Sure, I mean, like we said, it could launch broken, which probably, yeah, it happened. At least it ships out with something new. They're not taking anything from the out of the experience. They're not removing. Like I'm sure you've heard of Call of Duty Zombies. I'm not sure if you have. I know you're
Yeah.
not really a Call
Oh
of
yeah,
Duty guy, but
God, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
so imagine if Black Ops they come up with a new game. Oh, we're removing zombies, but instead we'll add one new map, and now you pay $60 for it. How do you think people are gonna react to that? Like they're gonna be
They're
pissed.
not gonna be too happy.
Imagine if Ark came out with a new map. By the way, Lost Island's coming out. Be ready for a Clueless J on that. And imagine if they release Lost Island. It's gonna be broken. It's wildcard, just like 2K and those developers. They're gonna screw themselves over, and they're gonna say we're gonna patch it later. But besides the point, imagine Lost Island released, and then they removed wyverns from the game, dragons. Uh, and you pay the same price. You pay double the price, actually. What's your reaction to that?
F this map, F this game.
Exactly. Now, modern gaming is really consuming games, you know? It's corrupting the industry. It's the fix later, pay now mentality,
Right.
you know? And we see big games and big names suffer from this. It's really sad. Because I remember when 2K, WW2K, yeah, it's always been buggy, but at least it was a finished product.
I mean,
And they
yeah.
didn't remove anything.
And the
Same thing with... Oh, go ahead.
sad thing
Go
about
ahead.
W2K, it's gotten worse every year, but it was
Yeah.
really noticeable in the last two games. I mean, hell, their best one was 2K14, which was the first 2K WWE game, but it wasn't even made by 2K. I don't even remember the name of the company that made it, but I just know that they're not in business anymore, and that's why 2K's name was put on it. You know, WWE was like,
Mhm.
oh, well, this company went out of business, so let's put somebody else on this game. And it was freaking 2K. And they didn't even make the game. And that was freaking the best one in the entire series, which I, I find hilarious.
It goes to show that certain companies don't know how to develop games properly. Yeah, they know they have the skills to do it, but they don't have the patience. They're lazy.
They don't have
They
the same drive or passion for it anymore.
as old developers do.
Now it's just about
Hell,
money.
old Madden games had more customization than new ones.
Hell yeah. Freaking.
Like I read up a review on the most recent Madden that came out, and customization is lackluster. There's the same faces plastered, and the same faces used every year. When before you could probably customize your entire character, customize the color of your team, customize the entire stadium, customize every part of your franchise and your team,
Yeah,
everything.
I know for sure some of those features were in older games. Um, and not just that, it's gameplay modes too. Uh, like just this year they brought back the combine, but it's like literally like, oh, you pass the ball 10 times. Oh, you run a few drills, you know, with the running back, like as the running back or as the receiver, whatever position you're going for.
Hmm.
And then you run the 40-yard dash. Like that's it. Like that's it. Like the old Maddens like had the entire combine process. It had the entire it had the scouting process in college. Like you played college games, then went to the pros. And not like the new game where it's like, oh yeah, you play two college games and that's it. Like no,
No, not at all.
no. Like there was so many again, Madden is now starting to bring these features back, but they had been gone for so many years, and now that they're here, like they're so bugged and they're so terrible. And again, modern gaming says, "Oh, well, let's make this quick and simple," so you don't get the full effect from it. You know? I
And
mean, you literally
see,
can, something that used to take it would take you a while to do. It takes it takes like a few hours, and that's not what those modes are supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, oh yeah, let me just spend a few hours and just bang it out, and then all right, now I'm done with that mode. Now there's nothing left to do.
right.
Like, I guess I could run it back again and do a different position. Like, no, you have your things you like, and you should be able to play modes endlessly and or maybe not endlessly, but for a long time and be able to customize it and do what you want with it.
Right. And that's the thing. these games release like that, but these fans keep buying it. Like, in
and
order
and
to get it done, I think they need to, send a message, and the only message these companies care about is the green.
yeah, and that's the problem. Like these companies, or that's another problem, I should say. These companies know that the fans are just going to keep buying the games because these fans are hopeful that the next one's going to be better as it's promised.
Yeah,
You know, it's that need to like always have hope, like no matter what, you know. And these companies feed on that. So again, they know that these people are going to just keep buying their games. And they go, all right,
it's
well,
sad.
and that's all they care about. It's just the money, like you said, the green.
Yeah, that's all they care about, and they use the names of popular franchises to also get free green out of that. Like, Star Wars fans will buy a game with Star Wars on the title. If it sucks, doesn't matter. It has Star Wars, and Star Wars fans want to play Star Wars. Fans, they love NFL. They're gonna keep buying games, even though they suck sometimes and are broken as hell. They just want to play as their favorite player.
Yeah,
That's what's sad about it. They're milking the franchises for what they're known for. It's really sad to see. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, modern gaming has really dug their freaking heels into people's wallets, and that's
yeah,
literally what it's about. They
yeah.
don't care that the game's release broken. They don't care about reviews. They don't care. Yeah, maybe if some developers will, but they only do that to save their good name. Because if
Right.
a company's reputation goes down the drain, they're not gonna make as many sales,
Exactly.
and
And
sales are very important.
I've sat here and I'm like, oh, you know, like I've last couple of years at least, I've told myself, oh, you know, I want to get into gaming more. Oh, I want to buy more games, like you know, start getting a wide range of you know different games that I play, and like, but I haven't, and it's for two reasons. One, game prices have skyrocketed because again, these companies all they care about is the money, and two,
Mhm.
all these games now again come out broken, and more often than not, they never get fixed. So what's the point?
Yep.
I don't want to waste my money on something that, again, is broken. You know?
Right. No one does.
No.
And that's a big point that we're going to discuss. And that's Halo Infinite. And I'm sure you've heard Halo, the name Halo at
Oh,
least
oh
growing
God,
up.
absolutely. Halo's always been pretty big for I can't tell you how many years, but yeah, growing up, you know, everybody always talked about Halo.
Yeah, Halo Infinite, I wouldn't say it's a household name, but it's extremely popular. I almost said powerful. I mean, the name is powerful to some people, I suppose, but um, again, I'm gonna bring that up. The name holds power. If people hear of Halo, they're gonna buy Halo if they've been fans of the older games. And they recently released the beta, and the betas for most games are representative of the full game. Sure, they may lack a few features, but they're basically representative of the entire game that's about to release. So that excuse is no that's very low on the board of excuses, Um, and with Halo Infinite, and I credit most of this information to Actman because he does make some really good points. And Halo Infinite is what it suffers from is lack of content, the broken custom games, and really that's it. Where's the content at? Playing old Halo games, and you come to this game, where's it at?
Yeah, like
Like what menu am I looking at?
right, like if memory serves me correctly, I believe it was Halo Reach had the most content in terms of modes and ways to tweak game on day one. Also had the largest Halo map ever. There was your rankings were based on military rankings, and there was so much more to
hmm
do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Reach was the Halo that launched with the most content. You had all these modes that worked out of the box. You had a campaign, you had a Forge mode, which was a map editor, and it launched with one of the biggest maps in Halo history, Forge World, and it was a fan favorite. You had Infection, you had SWAT, Slayer, which is Deathmatch. And then you go to Halo Infinite Beta, and again, it's representative of the full game. It's most of all the modes are going to be there at launch, and that's it. It's all you got is big team battle, ranks, and quick play, which is objectives. There's no way to choose if you want to just play deathmatch or Slayer. It depends on what if you're a Call of Duty player, so you might know it as deathmatch.
Especially Halo. What was it? Halo Reach.
Sometimes objective. But there's no options there. You can't choose. There's not enough content to sustain. And 343 already announced that they were gonna add more content, but sure, the game's coming out next week, but is it really enough? With people already realizing what the amount of content they have, and they're suffering from modern gaming, like we just had a discussion about.
Exactly.
And we see a progression system that is not rewarding at all. Yeah, they added some fixes to it, but it still doesn't really feel rewarding. And I'm an average player. I drop at least 20 kills a game, and I still don't feel rewarded from that. If I'm going to be playing a game, I want to feel like I earned something. When they added a battle pass to, again, accommodate modern gaming aspects, and they say, oh, we're going to fix and add so much more content later. No, that's not what we want. That's not what Halo fans want, and you're not going to drag in new players like that.
And it really seems like that they're confusing and misleading their fan base with all these, empty promises and all these transparent announcements. And do you get the feeling that it's Halo 5 all over again?
Yes, I do. I played Halo 5's beta, and that was great. But when Halo 5 came out, and I saw a release map, forgot the proper name for it, a timeline of content releases, it's feeling just like now. They're promising things coming down later in the line. I want that out of the box. I paid $60 for what? 5 modes? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And a new player that wants to, oh, I've never played Halo before, or I haven't played this game in such a long time, they're going to pay 60. I mean, Halo multiplayer is free to play, but that's besides the point. They want you to pay for cosmetics and stuff, and that's another point I want to bring up. It's really expensive to buy cosmetics. I did watch a video. I think it was around $100 for skins, total. Insane. That's insane. No one's gonna pay
on top of the already $60 you just paid.
Yeah, for the campaign, and on top of it, after you're done with playing story mode by yourself, you're gonna say, "All right," and then you go play with some friends. And the custom games are broken. Oh, we'll fix that down the line. Well, thank you. Now I can't play because I have to wait for you to fix the game that should be fixed already.
And what was the timeline on that again? 9 months or something like that?
Yeah, 6 to 9 months for Forge and co-op.
Yeah, well, and I'm gonna tell you right now.
Co-op.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you right now, those freaking first few modes that the game's gonna come out with on day one, those are gonna get old in 2 or 3 months.
Stale, really stale.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? Co-op campaign was out with Halo Combat Evolved back on the original Xbox. And Combat Evolved also had a few modes that are lacking in Infinite already. What does that tell you? The original Halo has some features that aren't in the new games that have been in Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, and even Halo 4. That's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah, all these again fan favorite modes that were in so many of the previous Halos that you just got rid of them. Or you really couldn't just copy the code over and just put it into Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now I was planning to do a Clueless J with you on Halo Infinite, but obviously we have to wait 9 months now to do that, which is ridiculous. And fans that love Halo, they've grew like me. I grew up with Halo. I love the game. I love the franchise. Hell, just like MJF has a poster of CM Punk, I have a poster of Master Chief in my room. I love the games, and to see it, I mean, it's fun as hell for the first few games, but it grows extremely stale when you're playing Slayer and Deathmatch or Capture the Flag over and over. Or if you're looking to just play Slayer, and you're like, oh, now I have to play Capture the Flag. Not only is there a lack of modes, you're being forced to play modes you don't even want to play. Talk about splitting the fan base.
Makes the argument that's even worse.
there's going to be an argument made. You're splitting the fan base if you make a mode like that makes you choose your own playlist. Well, if you don't do something about it, it's going to split the fan base for the worst. They're going to go play different games. And if 343 is really going to go this route and follow modern gaming, at least do it right. You know? I mean, there's no real proper way to do modern gaming right, but maybe if you actually gave us something that wasn't broken at the start, at least if custom games weren't broken, then maybe we could forgive content coming down later down the line that weren't out of the box. Because, listen, we're getting a campaign and we're getting multiplayer.
Like,
that's great.
Here's an example for you. Like, with Madden, right? It always comes out broken.
Yeah.
But at least they are relatively quick about at least solving a few or a couple big issues. You know, yes, some issues might never get addressed. Yes, some of the modes that they reintroduce or whatever or create might be terrible, right? Or they might be just okay. But at least Madden, like companies like EA Sports, like with Madden developers, at least they try to give you something. You know, at least they try to do something, try to fix the problem. You know, try to give you something entertaining, try to give you something new. Like, it doesn't even seem like 343 is trying to do that with Halo Infinite. Like they just seriously dropped the ball on this one, if you ask me.
I agree. At least with Halo 5, waiting for Forge wasn't a big issue because we had, again, the campaign wasn't great, but they had a campaign. We had a bunch of modes. We had a new mode they introduced called Warzone, so people got to try that out. The game wasn't lackluster, it didn't lack content. When Infinite does. There's no way you're going to sustain a game on ranked and a random mode every time. You're not going to sustain a game like that. Unless the campaign's awesome, you're not going to get very far, and people are going to be leaving, and you're going to have a 9-month gap of a very low player base. And the only people that are really going to be playing the game are people who watch Twitch streamers and they're wanting to play with them, or they're bandwagoning and they want to try it out.
Yeah, and
they're going to realize really quick that there's no content to play.
Yeah, and let's be honest, after that 9 months when freaking, that patch or whatever comes out, let's be honest, there's still going to be issues. There's still going to be so many problems with it.
Halo 5 had issues after issues. Each patch, there was always something broken. Now, I wouldn't say all the time, but the point still stands.
Absolutely.
Again, my point is, should it resonate with a lot of people, and if it doesn't, that's fine. Games should release complete out of the box. I don't care if you're free to play. If you're gonna charge a total of $100 in your freaking item store, make sure your game works first before I spend any money on your game.
I couldn't agree more.
Now, again, Combat Evolved had co-op in their campaign. And that came out when I was born.
Jesus.
That's insane. I'm gonna put a counter to repeat all my repeated insane, ridiculous. Because it is. It is. Modern gaming really needs to either step up their game or fix their act, because they're gonna lose money real quick.
That's if the fans actually start saying, you know what, enough of this,
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not
because you
gonna
can have
happen like
hope,
that.
but you can only have it for so long. You know what I mean?
And unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. It's not. And things is with popular franchises like that, people are gonna buy into it no matter what. People love Halo. People love NFL. People love WWE.
Yeah.
Maybe not nowadays, but still.
And that's why I sit here and I limit myself. I limit myself to Madden, WWE 2K, and Ark. And then sometimes I might throw in an extra game in there just to try it out. Like if there's like a really good sale or something. But that's it. I just limit myself to those 3 games. And part of that is also just because of my busy schedule. But you know what? Again, if I really wanted to, I could sit there and make time to play more games. But why would I? Why would I when they're so expensive and so broken?
Exactly. That's a perfect point you just brought up. I think the only time you of all people try out new games is Clueless J.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much it. And
and
there's been a couple
games.
that I've gone back to a couple times. But after that, it gets repetitive. It's boring.
Right. And when it gets to that point, I mean, what's the even point of playing that game anymore? Just go play something else. You know, and it's sad. You know, with popular names like that, it happens in movies too. You know, but I think one franchise that probably won't lose a lot of money in the long run though is Marvel. Plain and simple. And that's a movie. That's in the movies, and they have games.
Yeah.
That's one franchise that'll never get old. It'll never die, and that's one for one reason. It's not because
And you know
the
why?
side characters that they're trying to introduce. It's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, the popular Doctor Strange, Iron Man, all those popular ones.
And it's not just that, but do you know why Marvel will always, in my opinion, going forward at least, always be one of those top companies that just people keep going back to?
Why is that?
Because they give the fans what they want. They give the fans what they want.
At least to an extent in some movies. Some movies don't.
Right.
But with all this new hype over the new Spider-Man movie coming out soon, what are your thoughts on that? Tell us about the huge cast. And tell us what we can expect.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I already bought my tickets, and that partially was because they were selling out very fast. Honestly, I think it's safe to say this might be the most anticipated MCU movie yet. It maybe even more than Endgame. I know that's crazy. It sounds crazy to say that, but when you think about like what you say, like the big cast, I mean, hell, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, all his side characters, freaking, we have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, his Green Goblin, his Doc Ock, rumored his Mary Jane and Harry Osborn. We also have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and his Electro and his oh god, his Dr. Connors, you know, the Lizard, you know. Also rumored is his Gwen Stacy. We also have Sandman confirmed. We don't know if it's Tobey Maguire's or if it's gonna be like a new Sandman. There's also confirmed is, like you said, Doctor Strange, Tom Hardy's Venom. Supposedly, and I've been hearing about this one for a while, so I believe it is confirmed now. But you know, since you know the late great Stan Lee won't be in any movies anymore, you know, unfortunately, it was a tragic death. So supposedly Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is going to be taking over the cameos. So we're going to have Deadpool in there at some point. Rumor has it that I can't think of the actor's name, but if you ever saw Netflix's Daredevil, he's going to be in it. As rumored. It's also rumored that Mysterio is going to make a comeback. It's rumored that Vulture and Scorpion and Tom Holland's universe could make an appearance. Mm-hmm. There's so much going on in this. It's easily going to be a 3-hour movie, easily.
Oh yeah.
And we might, you know what? We might even see Miles Morales finally make an appearance. I mean, hell, they referenced him in Homecoming. You know, you're doing this multiverse thing. Why not bring them in?
Right.
At this point, you might as well. You got everybody else in there, right?
I mean, you might as well. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I could definitely see them doing that.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna get the Sinister Six. We're gonna get the Sinister Six." I have a theory. If all those confirmed characters and all those rumored characters are true, you got to think that's more than 6 villains, right? I don't think we're truly gonna have the Sinister Six in this movie. I think this is setting up the Sinister Six, especially given the rumors that Marvel is already working on, you know, planning out phases like the rest of Phase 4, but also phases 5 and 6, and they want Spider-Man and Tom, as in Tom Holland, and also Miles Morales. They want them to be a big part of the future of the MCU. So given the fact that they also sat here and said, "Oh, well, we want to do our own take on Sinister Six," and typically when they say things like, "Oh, our own take," what they really mean is that we want to give you the old school tradition straight from the comic book. Well, if they do that, then we still have a villain missing. Because if memory serves me correctly, Craven, Craven the Hunter was one of the original 6, and he's not in the MCU yet. There's not even been a mention of him. So
Unless he makes an appearance in a future movie.
and I am hearing rumors that he could make an appearance if they decide to do well, not if they decide to do, but so they are planning another Spider-Man movie. And I am hearing that Craven could be the villain. And why not? Again, why
Right.
not? Somebody that people MCU fans have been wanting to see make the big screen. I mean, hell, they just brought Taskmaster into the universe. That's a fan favorite that everybody's been wanting to see for a while. So why not continue down that road? Bring in Craven. You know,
Right.
there's so many possibilities and so many things that they could do with this, and I truly believe that Spider-Man, Sinister Six, all that is going to be a stronghold in the MCU. That is going to be probably the main focal point aside from the Avengers movies for the next 2-3 phases.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man is definitely going to be taking the Avengers kind of role here, in popularity. Thing is though, these side movies people are interested in. People want to see Spider-Man. People want to see Doctor Strange. They want to see all those cool events happening.
Yeah, and you know what? Some of these side movies are not terrible either. Like,
Yeah.
they're not. They're pretty good. I was a huge fan of Black Widow. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see Shang-Chi in theaters, partially because one, yes, I was sort of interested, but not enough to go spend money at a movie theater to see it. Plus, I own the entire series to this point on DVD anyways. I'm just going to buy it when it comes out. So, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, but movies like Spider-Man, well, shit. The morning after premiere day, everybody's going to be talking about it. So, I'm like, oh, God, no, I have to see this movie.
Right.
One, so it doesn't get spoiled for me. And two, just I can't wait that long for it to come out on DVD. I just can't.
Right. And that's the thing, modern movies, I mean, especially with the internet, it's going to get spoiled for you if you don't watch it day one. Unless you completely limit yourself from social media, it's going to get spoiled. There's no way of escaping that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that kind of just shows you how the, I guess, attention that movies like that bring now.
Oh, yeah. Especially superhero movies, people sometimes rag on superhero movies for being, generic and play to a nerdy audience, but obviously they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think the MCU is doing, like I said, giving fans what they want, going for straight from the old school comics. What you're doing is you're bringing back an old fan base. Right? You're bringing back an old fan base that, as kids, wish they had seen these things. Now they're adults, and now these things are happening, and guess what? They have kids of their own now. So now they're going to get their kids into it, and now their kids are watching it, and then when they grow up, they're going to get their kids. What the MCU is doing is they're bringing back, but they're also creating generations of fans.
Right.
And I think
that's the best part about it.
And it's the perfect way to do business. It really is.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're making lots of money off that. Especially with merchandise, when children are like, "Oh, I want that," they're gonna get their parents to buy it for them.
Oh, yeah, a lot of those toys are the hottest selling toys around the holidays and stuff.
And not only that, sometimes franchises like that bring happiness to families.
Absolutely.
They bring laughs, joy.
Absolutely.
And that's the best part about it, And that's all that really matters is that. And I hope that Marvel stays like that in the future with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, I've seen people cry when he quote unquote died in Infinity War.
Yeah.
I've seen people cry because of that.
Dude, I think how many people cried when Iron Man freaking died in Endgame?
Too
Tony
many.
Stark.
And that's the thing.
Everybody was crying, dude. I was crying.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's. I may have dropped a tear when Iron Man died. He was one of my favorite characters.
Absolutely. But everybody leaves it at some point, and that's understandable, and then it also creates this new wave. So, interestingly enough, though, I don't know if you've heard this, But there's been stories that I've been reading up on recently. Tom Holland is currently 25 years of age, I'm pretty sure. And he has
Hmm.
come out and said he does not want to be playing Spider-Man after he turns 30.
Oh, geez. Unless they're probably gonna end up using the multiverse to get a new Spider-Man. Maybe
Or
Miles
again,
Morales or something like
they
that.
could bring in Miles Morales. But I think that's interesting. They're sitting here making all these plans for the next couple of phases with Spider-Man, and they have a Spider-Man now that does not want to be doing it in 5 years' time.
So they're gonna have to pull Miles Morales or a new Spider-Man into the fold
Yeah, and
if they're gonna want to make that
it kind
work.
of sucks because it feels like we just got Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Hmm.
And I think Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think you definitely can make the argument he's the best one yet.
Oh yeah.
I think he's the best. I think he's the most accurate, not only to Spider-Man but to Peter Parker. And you got to remember that with superheroes, is there's two
No.
personalities. You know,
Yeah.
I think Toby's was pretty accurate to the Peter Parker side of it. I think Andrew Garfield's was pretty accurate to the Spider-Man part of it, especially given the fact that it was the Amazing Spider-Man series. It wasn't the normal Spider-Man series. People forget
Hmm.
Amazing Spider-Man was its own comic set
Right.
or story or series, whatever you want to call it. But I think Tom Holland just overall is the best one. And again, it feels like we just got him, and then now you're saying we're probably going to lose him in a few years, and that's going to come by very quickly.
Oh yeah. Time will fly. Thing with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I think the only good character in that is J. Jonah Jameson.
Absolutely,
Personally,
man. Absolutely.
are you serious?
There's like, freaking.
Like, he's the only good character, bro. I only watched that Spider-Man when I want to laugh because how bad it is.
Yeah,
That's
the
really
dialogue
it.
is trash. I mean, trash. Some of the scenes and special effects, terrible. But the only
Horrible,
character you
like,
could count on in that whole series was J. Jonah Jameson.
yeah, he's making an appearance too, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Oh God. See, another one I forgot. See, that tells you how many people are in Spider-Man when you like No Way Home when you start forgetting who's in it.
Bro, I hope that freaking Jameson in it,
He made an
bro.
appearance in the trailers, so let's bring him. And he also made an appearance at the end of No Way Home. Oh no, not No Way Home. I'm sorry. Far From Home. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man.
bring
He's
back
the best
J. Jonah
character.
Jameson, man. Bring him
Bring
back.
him back. The best character in the series. By far. I mean, that's really it, you know? There's a lot of, like, that type of stuff really brings people together, and it's glad to see that it's still going, you know? And I hope it's successful, and I know it'll be successful.
I'm calling it now. I think No Way Home will be the highest grossing MCU movie ever. Even more
That's
than
a good prediction.
even more than Endgame.
Endgame.
I'm calling it.
Oh, yeah.
It might be close, but the amount of
Yeah,
hype
we're
and
gonna have to see.
anticipation this movie's brought already, and it's not even out yet. The fact that
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see.
like tickets, like you can hardly get them now, and the movie still has 2 more weeks until release.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like, it's that simple. People want to see Spider-Man. People want to see all this multiverse. They want to see
And
all their favorites.
and I think it's just tragic that Stan Lee's not alive to see this. I mean, if you think
Right?
about it, Spider-Man's his baby. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know
this is true.
I don't know if you know this, but back when Marvel and DC, they were still just comic books. They weren't on the big screen yet. Yeah, there had been maybe a couple TV adaptations at the time, but
Mhm.
back when it was just mainly their main revenue came from the comic books.
Oh yeah.
I think it was. I want to say it was. I don't even know when it was, but what I do know is, I know. Let's face it, DC and Marvel have always been at war with each other.
Mhm.
So I want to say it was Marvel that did the superhero thing, like superhero team up thing first.
Mhm.
But at the time, DC's characters were more popular, especially in that team up form of Justice League. So I want to say it was after DC created the Justice League. They were stealing away fans from Marvel to the point where
Mhm.
Marvel almost went bankrupt, completely bankrupt. And so they sat
Mhm.
down and they're like, listen, we have enough money to come out with one more issue. What are we going to do? And Stanley's like, let's introduce a new hero, and everybody was like, all right, we're listening. And he's like, we're gonna do an issue of Iron Man, and Iron Man's gonna discover a new superhero, and that new superhero will be Spider-Man.
And
So,
Legend was born.
and yeah, exactly, and Legend Born. So it's like, you sit here. I mean, if you think about it, Spider-Man saved Marvel Comics. You know, and
did.
now you have the most, again, in my opinion, the most anticipated Marvel movie yet. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's a multiverse Spider-Man movie. And again, Stanley's not here to witness it, and it's sad to think about something like that, you know?
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. But Stanley's legacy will always live on. And the thing with DC with the Marvel is, I mean, you don't really see anything coming in from DC now that's really credible and interesting. Maybe some like cartoons and movies, but the movie scene has always been Marvel. Marvel will always destroy DC with movies.
And
And I haven't.
it's because of what we already
Go ahead.
said. They give fans what they want, at least for the most part.
And the Snyder Cut didn't really appeal to, I mean, I didn't watch the Snyder Cut, but even that, the better version of Justice League, that still won't beat Infinity War and Endgame any day.
Oh God, no.
Not by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. And you can't convince me otherwise. Like, there's no way.
No,
You know,
Marvel has found a way or formula or whatever that works for them, that works for their fan base, that makes DC wasn't, it makes DC something that it
I know what you're trying to
you
say.
know what I'm trying to say. DC's not the same as it used to be because of Marvel. Kind of like how WWE's not the same anymore, and you can say that's partially because of AEW. Maybe mainly because of AEW. It's just out with the old, in with the new kind of thing,
Maybe that could be a topic of discussion for a future podcast, but we are actually done for this episode of the Cabral Salisbury Show, and those are very interesting topics today, who would have thought that, old would beat new, and modern gaming sucks? Like, who would have thought?
Yeah, right?
But everyone, thank you for coming by to watch the newest installment of the Cabral Salisbury Show. The next episode of Clueless Jay will be releasing in the near future. And Jay, do you have an announcement for Jay Sports Review?
Yes. The long awaited Jay Sports Review. Finally got some things together, guys. So expect a new episode very soon. Actually, I should say our first episode very soon. I recently went to the Titans Patriots game, so I'm gonna have some stuff to say on that. That experience. I mean, it was fun being back in a stadium at a football game. But again, I'll say that for Jay Sports Review.
All right, guys. Again, thank you for coming by and watching. Stop by again to watch that Clueless Jay and Sports Review. And everyone, take care.
See you later, guys.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.